This is COLM McGuigan for IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by Edward Hearn in San Francisco. Edward, how are you doing, my friend? Actually, just off the back of Belfast, where you've been going around saying, I know your name to people. You know how many people have said that to me now?
What, walking past you going, I know your name.
A lot of people.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It's the only phrase you can say in a Belfast accent.
How you doing there in our COLM?
You see, that's Macrofeld, and you've actually been to Macrofeld.
Have I?
So a few people messaged me about Paul McCluskey's fight,
Right,
and it was Frank Smith's first ever event was in Macrofeld.
Right.
Bit of trivia for you.
There you go.
Edward, in San Francisco for a massive pay-per-view card. Just how big is this event?
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that you'd even come close, be honest with me, to selling this place out?
No. I mean, listen, when we came to America, I felt like there's so many opportunities to go to new cities. But it's such a roll of the dice, especially when you've got big guarantees to fighters, to just go to, not a random city, but to go to a city that isn't synonymous with boxing, that hasn't staged big fights in the past. So you're like that, you go on sale, and I cannot believe the response. Every day now, we're still selling. There's a couple more blocks, like right up the top, that we can open up. We're selling 300 or 400 tickets a day. The ticket prices are well priced. I think that makes a difference as well. And all of a sudden, you're going to get a 16,000 sellout in a new arena that's never staged boxing before, in a city that hasn't had a big fight for God knows how many decades, right? So this feels like a big turning point, actually, not just for us, but for US boxing. I mean, for the fighters, the people on the undercard, like everybody, we're very lucky. And this is going to be a wonderful night of boxing and a massive platform for two fighters that want to take themselves to the very elite of the sport.
Let me ask you an honest question here. Whenever you've done this, you always add on maybe like 2,000 or 3,000 to what you think. What did you actually think this would have done?
Oh, 7,000 or 8,000.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've got this event and then we've got Phoenix next week. I reckon next week we'll have 5,000 or 6,000 in Phoenix, right? I actually thought we might do 7,000 or 8,000 in Phoenix, but I thought we'd do the same kind of number here. Come on, the bottom tier holds 10,000, right? 8,000 ticket sales, like, that's actually all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not horrendous. 16,000.
Why do you think that change was? What do you think is factored into it?
I think it's me. No, I think it's just, it's new city. It's Devin. Yeah, there is, of course, Devin is from the Bay, right? So, you know, we know that he moved to Las Vegas, etc. But you can, you know, they will come out for their own. He's gone to Australia twice on ESPN to beat Kambosos. Then he's beaten Lomachenko on pay-per-view. So his profile's grown a lot. The mixture of the two, the build-up, the promotion's been sensational. The content, the promos, the press conferences, everything's just gelled perfectly. This is like an example of a perfectly promoted event. And it's just worked, you know. And I'll be honest, like San Francisco wasn't the first choice. You know, Vegas wasn't available. You know, we looked at Atlanta. We looked at Washington. We wanted to go places that we hadn't been before. And, you know, we were struggling. And this wonderful arena, one of the best arenas I think we've ever promoted in, said, we think it will do well here. And we're like, and like I said, massive guarantees to both fighters. It's like, we needed to sell 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 to make sure that, you know, financially we're in a good place. And then 16,000, the fighters make more money, everybody's incentivized for the gate. Like I said, all round, perfect promotion, great fight.
Seeing as you've done more tickets than you expected, will we see maybe Eddie Hearn do a performance of the night bonus for the best fighter on Saturday night here?
No.
Why not? Come on, incentivize these fighters.
You don't need to incentivize because the incentive is there to change your career on a massive platform with a huge crowd and live on DAZN around the world. So it's not an extra 15, 20, 25 grand. It's go out there, knock someone out, look sensational, and win the hearts of all these amazing fans in San Francisco and around the world.
I can tell you're in a great mood this week, you know. Talk to me about the winner, right? Because Jack Catterall's coming here. He's going to be ringside. Well, who else is coming?
I think Sabril Matisse is coming. Jose Ramirez is coming. Richardson Hitchens is coming. Like, this is, everybody wants the winner of this fight. You know, when you look at the 140-pound division, for me, the winner on Saturday is the guy. You know, I know you've got Teofimo Lopez, but who knows what he's going to do or if he's even going to fight. I mean, so this guy is the guy on Saturday. And that's why it's such a great fight, because for Devin, chance to become a major superstar in the sport. For Regis, chance to put himself up where he feels he's always belong or deserve to be. Politically, the winner of this fight must fight Ryan Garcia. I mean, come on, like, it's massive. You imagine...
Is that a disservice to someone like Jack Catterall, though? Because I'm speaking from a point of view of Jack's...
Look, let's just be real. Jack Catterall, one of ours, always push him to the max. Great fighter. What's a bigger fight? You know, and by the way, there's every chance that we can't do a deal for Ryan Garcia to fight the winner. And in that case, Jack Catterall's in a great position. He's also got a final eliminator against Richardson Hitchens. Tough fight for both. Great fight, but tough fight for both.
Is that going to happen?
I mean, I think both guys would rather a shot direct or a bigger fight. So we'll do everything we can. But as a fallout, you know that the winner of that fight is mandatory to Subriel Matisse, who is also a great fighter. But we could probably actually make Matisse against that fighter now. Do you know what I'm saying? So 140, we're blessed. I mean, don't forget, you've also got Liam Paro against Montana Love on this card. That's a brilliant fight. The winner of that's going to put themselves in contention for a title. You know, we've got other conversations with 140-pounders that want to join Matchroom. I think it's a great weight class. You've got Ryan Garcia, you've got Gervonta Davis can fight there. You've got Teofimo Lopez, you've got Devin Haney, Regis Prograis, Jack Catterall, Richardson Hitchens, Liam Paro, Montana Love, Dalton Smith coming into the fray. Like, it's a really, really good weight class. And like I said, I think the winner of Saturday is the daddy right now, the division.
Let's talk a bit about Ryan Garcia. Good win against Oscar Duarte. I've heard you say that him and Oscar need to go their separate ways. Are you interested in speaking to Ryan Garcia about coming to Matchroom? Where is he contractually?
We're interested in any major fighter that, you know, draws rates, and that's Ryan Garcia. But those guys, you know, we're not interested in having conversation with Ryan Garcia until he's a free agent, and who knows what's going to happen. But I don't like to see it. I think for a young fighter to have to go through what he went through in the last 40 hours, I thought he was going to lose to Oscar Duarte, because I was thinking his head must be gone completely. You've got your promoter standing behind you behind your back at the press conference, then you've got him tweeting saying that he doesn't think his mental health is in a good place with 2 hours to go. I've never seen anything like it. Imagine me, it's 48 hours before the Otto Wilding fight with AJ, and AJ's up there speaking, me behind AJ's back going like this, and then posting saying, oh, I'm very concerned about AJ's mental health. What the So that's like, for the benefit of both those guys, it's a terrible look. And then after the fight, they just come out and Oscar says, you know, what a win by Ryan. You know, we're going to move, can't wait for the next one. It's like, yeah, so I don't know. It's not really my business, but I'm just saying as a fan, just bizarre.
PBC's deal with Amazon Prime. Good for the sport?
Brilliant for the sport. New broadcaster. Shows all the other broadcasters, shows the sporting world that boxing's hot. I don't know financially the elements of that deal and if it's a good deal for PBC, but the way it's dressed up is fantastic. You know, another commercial powerhouse back in the sport of boxing, because the reality is, when you get it right, boxing works and boxing can rate. And this is another example of the way that sport is moving to streaming. It's the future. We spotted that 5 years ago. But obviously, you know, there's those things.
There's been rumours that Stephen Espinosa, is going to be at the helm of Amazon's boxing. Do you think that would be a good play from them?
Yeah, look, I think Stephen's a good operator. He's got his enemies. He's very stubborn and he's upset a lot of people, but I don't think he cares. But he knows the sport. Obviously, he's worked with Al Heyman for many years. Good thing, bad thing, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I expect Stephen to get a job in boxing because he's been around it for a long time.
Is there any kind of ramifications for UK promoters that now it's going to be shown in the UK and Ireland? Does that mean PBC will try and build a stable in the UK, do you believe?
No, I don't think so. I just think that the one thing that's actually surprised me for a long time is that PBC have never had a broadcaster in the UK. Like, so many great fights that the PBC have done, and they've done like these ad hoc weird deals with various different promoters, and mainly on fight. Mine's gone blank. What they normally air their boxing on? What? No, yeah, no, in the UK. What do my mind's gone blank? PBC normally air their UK boxing on.
Yeah, supposed to be ITV years ago.
No, but whereas they air most of it. This is really awkward now because now no one knows. This is a good example of what they do in the UK. What's the outlet?
It's
The other-
PPV Fight or something, isn't it?
No, it's not. Fight TV.
Oh, Fight.
Yeah. Is it Fight TV?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Well, there you go. This is a good example of no one knows where the PBC has its fights in the UK. What's that other? It's a good network. It's not a network. It's a good outlet. It's called. Oh, you guys are fucking useless. Anyway, a good example that no one knows where to find PBC content. I'm really surprised they never did an output deal. So, yeah, all in all, I think there needs to be a UK home for PBC shows. Yeah, good brand, good shows.
Eddie, Simon Jordan came out with some comments about Conor Benn. He said, kind of that Conor has a lot to say and it will come out soon. Can you give us a bit of an idea as to what that's going to be?
Not really. I mean, when you sit down with Conor Benn, you quickly realise your opinion changes very quickly. And it's great to see that after all Simon's comments, basically Simon thinks Conor Benn's innocent.
Well, he hasn't quite said that.
No, he does. He does. I'm telling you now, deep down, Simon Jordan believes Conor Benn's innocent. No question.
But when will we find out more about this? Because he said in the coming days we still haven't heard.
We have to go through, and we are going through. This is why what Robert Smith said on TalkSport was completely inaccurate. We've gone through every process that's been asked of Conor Benn. And whenever he's been asked to present information in relation to his tests, he's done it. So, again, it's very difficult, it's very frustrating, but, we are where we are, and the mindset remains, make the fight. And we've got 4 days to make the fight, probably.
Why only 4 days? And if it's
8
not,
weeks away.
if it's not Eubank, who is it going to be? And is it still going to be February the 3rd at Spurs, regardless?
Yes, Conor will fight February the 3rd, whether it's in America, whether it's in the UK. We want to fight at Spurs on February the 3rd against Chris Eubank Jr. If he doesn't fight Chris Eubank Jr., we won't be fighting at Spurs. We may fight in London, or we could fight in America. But I'm talking now to Chris Eubank Jr., myself, Wakala, the whole team. And that's the only stumbling block. We've got to make sure Chris is comfortable, and then the fight's on. And it could happen today, or it could happen tomorrow, or it might not even happen at all.
If it doesn't happen, what's the names in America? For example, you talked about Conor maybe fighting in America. Is Boots Ennis one of those?
Yes, Boots
His
Ennis.
father's come out today and said he doesn't want to see him fight Conor Benn.
If he doesn't want to fight, I mean, we're talking to Boots Ennis anyway about other stuff. Marios Barros is the fight that Conor Benn really likes for the interim WBC world title. Great fight. Keith Thurman. Loads of fights out there for him. But his instructions to us are very clear. I am fighting on February the 3rd. Get me the biggest fight you can possibly make. And we can't control whether Chris Eubank will take the fight. If he doesn't fancy it or he doesn't think the deal... I mean, I've seen the numbers. Frightening. It's massive. It's a massive fight. It's one of the biggest fights in the history of British boxing.
That you've ever been a part of?
Yes. Massive. Massive.
Why is there...
I just want to get these two together. Let me promote this fight. Let you see one of the most fierce, intensive build-ups you have ever seen to a fight. Time this fight comes around, the whole of the country will drop everything to see these two go at it. It will be an absolute firefight. It will be vicious. It will be ferocious. There'll be bad blood. There'll be controversy. And I'll tell you what, stylistically, you know how Conor Benn fights, right? This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Bloodbath. It's Benn versus Eubank, or it's Eubank versus Benn. It's the history of British boxing. It's the controversy. It's two young men that are fighting for their family's pride and name. Mate, but this is massive. Let me at it. Eubank, let's go.
Tell me one thing though, right? Right, for example, I know, man, it's bad. It's actually starting to get to the point where I'm changing my accent a little bit. Well, we're going to get on that in a second. In a second, right? If this fight doesn't get sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, why is it not going to Saudi? Why do you not want to bring that fight to Saudi? Because clearly money's a big thing in this fight.
Because British boxing needs a big fight. It needs a shot in the arm. You've got a fighter that is not suspended, that is clear to fight. There is no reason why this man should not be sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control in his current position. British boxing needs this fight. You want me to take all these fights internationally? You got Joshua fighting in Saudi Arabia. You got Fury fighting in Saudi Arabia. You got all these big fights going out to Saudi or the Middle East. The biggest fight in British boxing, we got a chance to do it at Spurs. Give this sport a shot in the arm. Let's make it happen. And that is what we have decided we are going to try and do.
Padraig McCrory, Berlanga, done. Orlando, February 24th. Confirm or deny, Edward. Come on. You have to give me this.
Listen, don't get too excited just yet. But you could be having, I won't say what I was going to say because it's a little bit X-rated, but you could be walking around with a stirring in your pants very soon.
Oh, Edward, can't wait. You know that fight is unbelievable for so many reasons.
I mean, look, the problem with Berlanga against McCrory is people who know the sport, who know Padraig, who know Edgar Berlanga, know that fight is X-rated, right? It's a difficult sell to the wider market, but let me tell you now, that fight is a thriller. And you look at Padraig's world rankings. Number 3 is it with the WBO, top 10 with every governing body, or there or thereabouts. It's a big fight, a dangerous fight for both. And listen, Irish boxing is a big part of what we're doing at the moment. Big opportunity for Padraig McCrory potentially. We'll see what happens.
What do you make of Amanda Serrano vacating? Obviously Sky was looking for that fight. Now she's vacated. Does that mean that Sky fights then for? Do they fight for the interim belt, or what happens there?
It's already been ordered. Sky Nicholson against Sarah Marfood for the WBC full world title. Do you know what's mad? He's like, we sat down as a team, Paul Reedy from STN, and Sky said, I want to fight Amanda Serrano. Right? And we're like, she said, I know I'll beat her. And we're like, all right. Like, there's easier fights out there. And that's what we've been trying to do. So she beat the interim world champion. She beat Lucy Wildheart, the number 3. So she's beaten 1 and 3. So she's mandatory. Fair enough. And she's like, there's no way Amanda Serrano will fight me. She'll vacate. And like the team said, don't be daft. She won't vacate. She'll fight you. She'll think she can beat you. No, she won't. I'm telling you now, she will not fight me. And to be fair, she vacated the belt straight away. So I don't know what they see. Look, Sky's a very talented fighter, but has yet to fight anywhere near the levels of Amanda Serrano. But maybe they see the style just isn't the right matchup for her. And of course, she does want to fight 12 threes. I get that. But I think the key is to be undisputed. To give up a belt is quite a big move. And now there's a lot of beef between Amanda Serrano and the WBC, etc. Look, Amanda Serrano is a trailblazer of the sport. Tremendous fighter, 7-division world champion. But, Sky Nicholson wanted to fight her. But now she fights Marfood, a very good fight for the WBC title. But I think if she wins that fight, she'll be calling out Serrano again for the undisputed. And I don't know, it's been an interesting week for women's boxing in that respect. But look, maybe Serrano will fight Katie Taylor. We're in talks, I think reached out to him yesterday about
12 threes
for that fight. 10 threes because of the WBC title.
Well, then why did she vacate if?
That's the problem. She would then have to fight 10 threes, which would kind of go against the reason for vacating. But it is what it is. Look, I wish everybody the best and see where we go.
Edward, always a pleasure. I'm looking to sit down at some point this week because I have a lot that I want to ask and I can't do it right now because there's so many people behind us. So hopefully you'll do that.
15 minutes or something like that?
18. But there's so much more I need to ask you. Yeah, there's so much more I need to ask you, mate. Edward, thanks, mate.
Let's go this Saturday in San Francisco, Haney Prograis. This is how we do, baby.